Yeah, so I'm just trying to see if we do a higher frame rate for the stream to see if things are a bit, see if things are smooth, doesn't lag. But wait for a few more people to rock up. Some music cranking to start these off, but it's not my expertise. Okay. Wait for a few more people to rock up. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. It's been a crazy couple of days, but still full steam ahead.
What up? What up? Good morning or afternoon by you.
Hey mate, how are you?
Very good. Got a few hours of sleep midday. Got some sleep last night. So we'll hang out, do this, rest for 2 more hours, and then go from there.
Um, yeah, spaces are just they get scattered everywhere across the time zones. I feel so just jumping in and out.
Yep.
But may as well kick things off. So, welcome to another episode. I don't know what episode, another live draw session. To anyone that's new, uh, basically, I just use these sessions to kind of work on a particular asset. I try and mix it up a little bit as well, just to show you guys the process. I'll walk you through kind of what I'm doing. You guys are welcome to ask questions in the chat as we go. Um, I don't know if the actual chat is open. So, the join chat. Yeah, needs. Or just I might throw some things out there like, oh, we might need to like, what do you guys reckon about this or that? But all the previous ones we've mainly been doing in Illustrator, so these ones are a bit more fluid because I'll be working directly into Photoshop. So last week we basically focused on just showing you the sketching process. So what I wanted to do today is show you a little bit of once we've got a kind of, I guess, finished sketch, how I go about getting the clean line art. So obviously this is evolving the dumbfounded shroom. I went with like an ocean scene because the dumbfounded shrooms had like starfish and stuff on it as well. So basically what I do is I sketch over it, I do a few passes, and then once I'm kind of happy with the type of the layout, I'll kind of go from there. I'm also trying to not be as crazy as possible because I do feel the first tongue I did was too hectic. So just trying to still bring it back a little bit. But basically, what I'll do is I'll um, I'll drop this sketch down like this. Now what I've done is I've prepared the black line below. This is actually vectored line art, but I've actually dropped the line weight a little bit to match these. So I'm just going to work off this now. It really does depend in terms of the traits. Honestly, it's like how long is a piece of string. It depends on the complexity of the trait. Uh, and the size of the traits. So, for instance, what I'm finding is the mouth traits and the hat traits are quite big because they're a large area. But eye traits, neck traits, stuff like that, not as long. So basically, yeah, so with this as well, what you'll see is previously with the vector stuff, I was laying down vector lines and it was a bit more laborious. This I'll be sketching directly onto it using basically just using a rastered pen tool. However, we are actually, because I want to add a lot of detail, but I also don't want to get bogged down in making like drawing out this kind of part of the project. So we're looking to hire an apprentice to color. So basically, I would focus on smashing out the line art, send it to them, they color and shade it, and we just keep swapping like that. So what we'll do is we'll start, doesn't really matter where we start, but usually what I like to do is just before I begin, I just try to just get my hands warmed up. So I might just play around and just get some lines sketched. Now, the line weights will be 15, there's 20, and there's 30 for bigger ones. But primarily we're using 15 and 20. Now, I will show you as well, to kind of achieve the vectored lines, it's still drawn, but it can look very smooth. You can kind of achieve similar results. You have where you can turn up the smoothing of different brushes. So if you have zero smoothing, you basically have like zero lag. You can go, you want. As you roll smoothing up, basically it will lag. Yeah, it kind of follows me, but the lines are really, really smooth. I would always kind of recommend that you don't draw with smoothing up all the way, because otherwise it takes ages. But you do want to have some smoothing. I would say anywhere, nothing really above 50%. But sometimes if you've got a very important line, you might want to put up the smoothing so you can do a really nice thin line. These are like slightly tapered edges as well. But what we'll do, we'll drop it down to say 38. And just start working in this. Yeah, so this is, I guess, what you'd say, like the coral. Also, when you're inking and doing any kind of digital art, probably the most important tool is, like the most important keyboard shortcut is Control Z. Because you also you have the option to just keep redoing the line until you find the one you want. So I might just bring this in. Also, you want to be kind of rotating the line, the canvas quite often. But the smoother, the more smoother the strokes, the quicker your strokes are technically, the better it's going to look, the more vectored it's going to look. You never want to this is like called heading the line, where some people do this, they're not kind of confident, so they just keep drawing over the line and gives this kind of jagged, sketchy look. Kind of need to draw with a bit of confidence. But I would also say don't feel ashamed in, redoing the line often. Here's the look. bits in here. I have heard someone say they've watched me do this and they find it kind of satisfying. I definitely like getting all the lines nice and smooth. But you always want to kind of be zooming in and out. If you also like, sometimes I want this to be a bit more tapered. I do need to look to adjust my brush settings, but basically I'll just come in and I'll just lasso them to a bit more pointy if I want to. You'll find in most especially modern day animated cartoons, they always use untapered lines. It's always like a really that one. Untapered line because you don't want to have too much variance between the frames. Just up there. So what I usually do is I'll basically do all the line art before I even color it. So as I said, preparing it for, I guess, an apprentice to come in and color with us. But this is where, essentially the style is just that. This is where the style's kind of made, So you can also come in, turn it off, see how it's going, and you can fix stuff up later, This bit here as well with the fish, I'll just draw over it. Because you can always draw the fish. And this one as well, I know it's got a lot of detail, but could definitely add a lot more. But just actually the first couple of passes with some of the traits was more just getting a feel of how much detail I can add in without it becoming, too overcrowded and too hectic. But I do like doing what's, I guess, called organized chaos. I like drawing a lot of detail into things. So these, it's also pressure sensitive. So if you draw, I just want to get more uniform feel. So this is just the coral. Also, getting all the line art down packed first allows you to kind of balance the image from a line art perspective before adding color. If it looks balanced in black and white, then it's going to look, it's going to look good in color. So, don't like those. Us just jumping off a little bit too quickly, and it gives us like shoelace effect. Basically, most of the coral done. A little bit like a smooth thing here.
All right. Commander's doing a couple of slices of breakfast pizza.
I'm going to adjust that.
When you wake up a little bit more.
Just take off some of the edges a little bit. You know, you can come in with the eraser tool if you wanted to as well, and just adjust them like that. But to be honest with you, that kind of stuff, I'll wait till the end, because I'm more just trying to get the main stuff down. Now, we'll do this octopus here. Now, when we're doing the Illustrator stuff, what I used to do is I basically used to put everything down really thin. So I would just do everything like a smaller thing, and then I get to like select the lines and adjust the line weight. Obviously, this is different, so you have to kind of figure out your line weights beforehand. So as a general rule of thumb, you know, basically I've got level 15 pixels for like smaller objects. This would probably be a 20, you know, so it just, it's for a couple of reasons as well. Like you don't want to keep drawing over the same line. You know, you can definitely thicken the line later, but if it's drawn once, that's always the best. How many hours do I draw per day? To be honest with you, drawing all the time, really. Blue ring octopus. I might make it a blue ring actually. Yes, turn the smoothie might be a bit too high, but I want the smoothie to be done nice. I'm a bit of a night owl, so quite often I'll draw from midday through to 2 or 3 a.m. I remember I will say when we were doing I was getting the diamonds prepped. It was real like deadline there. I was waking up, 9 a.m. and just working through to 3. But I'm glad how they turned out. I know some people might be like that's a bit too crazy, but or like I don't know how you can do it. But I will say, I do love creating and drawing. You know, sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes there's some bits that can get a grind. You know, so when it's just laborious stuff. There's also why I think hiring an apprentice to do some of the grunt work is going to really free up some more time for me to focus on the really creative side. Working on the style and creating the crazy characters. But I always have movies going. I'll listen to podcasts.
Okay.
Some people will be like, "Oh, how long did that picture take you to draw?" I'm like, "Oh, it's 2 movies."
I'm glad you noticed that in the full Nintendo Pass.
And
I highly recommend Badger.
Also, once they get in the
genuinely
zone,
love it.
Kind of just.
Well, how did you think you were accessing all the SNES emulators and that?
That's the normal.
It's definitely as well like the apart from like the journey of it all, the journey of the picture. Like obviously I like the finished product, but I like
closer attention, boy.
And I will say,
Which is why I didn't expect
Um,
64.
I will say
I
there
got
is,
everything. I got the full
when
thing.
it comes to art, like
Cool.
there's no shortcuts really. I'll be honest with you. You know,
Telling you, Banjo-Kazooie, classic
there's
platformer.
definitely shortcuts, I guess. Like
Better than Mario
but
64.
you just lose
You
quality. If you
enjoyed
want
Mario
quality,
64, you will fucking
you
love
gotta put in the hard
Banjo-Kazooie.
yards. You know, I know I'm definitely a bit of a perfectionist, which is good and bad.
They may not be my specialty, but they're close.
It's good because
Are
I'll
you
focus
lurking
on
because you want
tiny
pizza?
things and make sure it's
Okay.
all perfect. But
Okay, bring a plate.
Okay.
you know, sometimes you just got to walk away from the drawing, feel like it's good enough. You know, just adjusting these. I'm actually just going to drop the sketch down a little bit more. To a bit better. Like that. That's good. Now, something like this as well, just show you, like, I don't know normally it's just small, but I'll show you how I kind of work. So I might get,
Right, will 2 big ones do you for
we're
breakfast?
we're in Photoshop, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
This is
One more?
a kind of, it's not pure raster,
Word.
so vector, you know, we could zoom in infinitely.
Enjoy.
With this, I'll certain like ellipses and stuff, I might use the tool, and then oops, there's the drop shadow. I'll just
That is how I learned
add-
1, 2, 3 in Spanish.
add a stroke
Uno, dos, tres.
and just bring it down to the level I like. You know, I might need
Articuno,
to
zap,
put in
dos,
this way, I
not
can kind of
tres.
adjust it a little bit, place it in.
Oh, you didn't know
And
that one.
then what I'll
Oh
do
my
is
god.
merge the layers together. So you kind of like locks that line art in, because otherwise you just get heaps of random layers on top of each other. Will there be random diamonds in Gen 2? Possibly. I definitely am looking to have, see, these bits as well, they're just shine, so I'm not going to actually add those, but add this little eyeball in there. Okay, let's work on this little area here. So what I'll do, for instance, I'll show you the sections here. I'll do 2 different line weights. So the outer shell of this will be like 20, and then the inner shell will be 15. Now, it's kind of one big, long line, so you might just adjust the smoothing a little bit, bring it up, and just try and get it in one. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And then I'll drop it down to 15. And again, keyboard shortcuts that your friend don't want to constantly go into the it's okay. Further off search engine, sorry. This wasn't hugging enough. In some areas. Yeah. Also rotating your canvas all the time. It's like rotating a piece of paper. Now I'm overshooting a little bit here. It's okay to overshoot because when we redraw, we can always come in and adjust those bits there. Now these outer shell bits, they will be 20. So I usually just use the brackets. So bracketing. So if I bracket up, it gives me a thicker line, and it does it like increments of 5. It's also why I like kind of sticking at 15, 20, 15, 20, 25. I will say there's one thing with the Cintiq that's a little bit different to Procreate is like a little bit of parallax. So parallax is there's like a bit of, I mean, you can't see it because you're not drawing directly on the screen, but there's a little bit of a gap between the cursor and my pen. It's pretty like actually minimal with the Cintiq Pro, but I will say for Procreate, it really doesn't feel like there's parallax at all. Okay, so in here as well, the this kind of munchy, like bushy stuff. If you're doing it like with too much smoothing, see it just looks a bit weird. So you got to just drop it right down. It can be a little bit rough anyway. Yeah, I'm really excited from seeing all the traits together. I will say, like the first few days of kind of working on the Gen was also just kind of, I'm the Cintiq. I'm pretty new to using the Cintiq as well, even though I've used a bit of Procreate. It didn't take long to adjust to it, but it's also like trying to ensure that you get a style that's, that's how you'd say, like not scalable, but like repeatable. So the line art that you use for the first one, once it's why like you use the same documents, the same canvases, obviously, like you want that to be matched, but you also want to be using like the same brushes and stuff like that across the whole lot. It's especially more important because we're not in Illustrator anymore. Whereas like Illustrator, you can choose the exact same line length. But I will say, I do feel that with the smoothing on, you can achieve almost, that almost looks like it's been vectored. They almost look like vectored lines, even though technically they are rasters. Also, I have pumped up this image, so it's like 9,000 by 9,000. Pretty damn big, but you're usually better off working larger and then shrinking down. Now, with this bit as well, see how there's like extra bits hanging over? What I might do is I'll create a layer on top. Might just drop the opacity down just so I know what I'm working with. And then I'll redraw this. And then it just allows me to erase stuff below it or above it in a non-destructive way. Like it just allows me to do it a lot cleaner. So these are like, I don't know, I was Googling like heaps of corals. These are like a type of coral. I don't know what that would be called, but it's like little pipes. Has anyone ever done the Great Barrier Reef. So I did it for the first time last year. And it was pretty damn amazing. Yeah. All 34 pads. What do you mean? I don't get it. I missed it. Oh shit, man. I need to turn that. Yeah. Basically, the smoothing lags because your computer's kind of makes these little calculations. It gives you like the average of the line to adjust, like literally on the fly. I mean, it's pretty amazing, but it just stops the handshake. I will say, like, I've got quite a steady hand in paper, but when you're drawing on a Cintiq or even these devices, they're actually so responsive that it's also sometimes like drawing on glass, so you'll feel like even more you'll pick up every little tiny thing. So when I just magic wand these, I expand it by like 1 pixel. I usually do that because some of it doesn't get the little edge and then a little fill. See, again, didn't even get these little edges. So even though I expanded, you just sort of have these little artifacts. Sometimes I'll expand by 2 pixels instead. Okay, then we just make sure that everything's matched. So you can see here, that's not. So you can go like that, right? So you could overshoot. And then because we've got 2 layers, I just come in and erase it like that, and it's non-destructive. I can just do it really easily. So you can overshoot and then just adjust. Here as well. Just like that. And then once it's looking all good, and you're like, okay, I like how all the edges are, then I'll just select 2 layers and then I merge the layers and now I'll line up. There you go. It's all in the details. I mean, I feel like if you, I don't know, I always feel like my work's always, I mean, it technically is always on display, especially with pad holders. You guys always zooming in on my work and the details, so it just also puts more pressure on me to make sure all the lines are right. But that's me in general. Actually, to be honest with you, I like it because used to put a lot of detail in my work, and my friends would just look at it, I was sick. I'm like, did you notice that there was this? Oh, I didn't see that. I was like, yeah, of course. I will say as well, when you're doing a long inking session as well, if we kept doing this live draw for like, 5 hours straight, by the 5th hour, I'm going to get a lot quicker. At the start, I'm, always a bit more tentative, but once you get in the flow, you get a bit more, I guess, confident in the lines. But this is one I will say, like, I'm really looking forward to getting an apprentice on board, because like sometimes coloring and shading is just like it's just not necessarily fun, because I'm not being super creative. Like the drawing's done, and now it's just let's make it look pretty. But that will also allow us to get this direction back. I'm just going to create another layer just because we're coming across weird stuff. So I'm just going to drop opacity, and I'm going to overshoot there. In fact, I can have to overshot. Yeah, Control Z is like your friend, and it's funny. This is kind of funny, like, I don't know if it's that funny, but when you're working in digital quite often, and then you go to analog, like, whether I'm sketching on paper, I don't do that actually often that much, but let's say I'm painting a mural or something, and you make a mistake, you're almost like in your head trying to control Z, like whatever the fuck's the control Z button, but it doesn't really work like that. But that's also what I do love with digital art, is you can be very precise. It can be a downfall as well, because then someone's brutal extremes. But you definitely can be very, very precise. So see again here, this is overshot, so I just adjust this, adjust that. That looks nice. On this layer, I can overshoot again. Because these things go a bit, connect a little bit more. Still see little bits in there. Okay, and then eraser. Zoom out, you're like, that's pretty good. I don't know why, but it's not wrong, but for me, I don't want to have that little blip there. So I'll just pop that off. Oh god, it's a bit heavy for that, actually. Then this line in, and that's the thing, I'll be like working in this level of detail, and that, you zoom out, the art doesn't have to go as crazy, but you're better off. So see how this is like come over a bit. So now I might just magic wand that. But that also is like me being picky again. And then I just brought the opacity up. I select them both, merge layers, and now if you have more crisp lineup. Also, as a rule of thumb as well, why I rotate the canvas a lot as well is like, if you're trying to draw a straight line, and you're trying to draw it across, like directly across, you don't have as much as if you're drawing directly down. Like you always draw lines better when you're walking down. So if I wanted to draw this line here, you're better off getting into a position where you can accurately, go like that. But again, digital art's pretty good in the sense that if you hold down shift, it's gonna give you a perfectly vertical line, saying it's horizontal. But you also don't want it to be exactly vertical stuff. So it's good if you like build. It's good if you're doing like geometric things, stuff like that. But then, to be honest with you, I wouldn't probably use Illustrator anyway. And I have found that I am mixing up a little bit of using a bit of Illustrator on this as well. So if there's something that requires like geometric lines or really some curved strings or something like that, I'll take it into Illustrator, I'll create some like line art, and then she'll render it together. Okay, I see you carefully drawing holes. Like first, I don't get it. I don't get what's the joke. Indigos. Missed it. Might just go through that. Let's see it again. So we've got about 20 minutes left, and we'll try and get most of this coral section down. Get up I might just jump that up to 2 pixels, edit fill, black and shit. So it needs to even see that's also why it's a little bit high. Shit, let's do that as well. I was thinking like because I always feel like as an example, like drawing on top of things. So I could go forever, like almost like Inception on Inception. So I could use this as like, I guess I kind of call it scaffolding. So let's say the first evolved collection is like goes off with a bang. We could draw little characters in here, but then the final, like the final evolve could be like he's like not his just this like crazy piece of where's Wally art. There's just so much shit going on. But that's not. I'm not saying we're going to be doing that. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Okay, so this bit here, these are like a little spiky thing. I'll drop the smoothing right down. because it can be a little bit rougher. You can see as well, there's very little lag. I'm not kind of adding too much tape in. Mike, I always say, like, when when people retire, they're like, what do they do all the time? I'm just gonna be like, I feel I'm just gonna be that old weird guy that's just like drawing this like, crazy pieces. Like I've always wanted to see what would happen if I spent like, a whole year on like one piece, So it's like a massive canvas and I just keep redrawing over it and over it. I build a whole so I do feel the biggest the most important commodity for I think, or especially my art, is just time. It's probably for most artists, I guess, as well. But I mean, I feel like creativity wise, like you give me a pen, if you gave me a pen in the Great Wall of China, like I could cover it. It's going to take me a while. Like just keep going and going and going. So, yeah, I'm like looking forward to it. I'd always want to do like a mega, 1 year piece. Yeah. Check. Yep. So it's starting to like, it's looking quite clean. I might come in here later and taper off these edges a bit more. Stuff like that. But that's something to do after. So what we might do is we'll work a little bit on our tortoise friend down here. Now, this is going to be basically like the mouth will be done. There's going to be like 3 layers. So the mouth will be done and colored. Then over the top, you're going to have like some additional line art and then some like kind of drip, some like ocean sea water coming out. But it's going to be a low opacity. So we're not going to color. You're still going to be able to see the back of the tortoise shell. But we'll create a new layer. And we'll call it turtle. We'll draw this guy's spacing. So we'll drop them down to 15. And I'm just going to adjust the smoothing up a little bit. And do that. Might be better off slightly higher number. So we'll do it to 20. Okay. One. haven't got it. There's like a funny GIF where it's like this guy destroying, and you just keep pressing Control Z, Control Z. Rages. It just fucks up his whole joint. Okay. Still here. Don't have teeth. Going to drop smoothing down a little bit. From there, Davio, back molars, kind of popping through. And then this is that into darkness. Let's see it here. Then, been tricky. Just the smoothness. And again, like even if I wanted to, I might overshoot. Because the beauty of having on the other layer, I can just go in and adjust it like that. So it looks a lot better. Drop this down. Don't like that. Ah, shit. Okay, wait. Redo. Okay, so what would do? Like that. Okay. Just turn that off. I got this tool. I would probably leave this. Oh, actually, no, I've probably done that up to 20. I'm not sure I find a good angle, but I like it. Okay, good angle. Go. Okay, I'm gonna just drop that down. Okay, pop this in like this. Okay, got a couple more minutes left. So, what I'll do next week as well, I'll alternate between sketching and inking and show you different aspects. Because I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about how to inking, how we achieve those kind of smooth lines. Whereas the sketching is a little bit more freeform. It's a bit more creative because you kind of, we're making decisions on the fly, whereas this is a little bit like not monotonous. It's like, we'll just tracing over what we've drawn. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, so it kind of didn't connect well. See what happens when you don't. The more you can do it as like one continuous line, the better. Okay, I'm just going to shade this line a little bit. And for this outer shell, I'm just because I don't want to make it too like both of them 20. Going to adjust it. So last. That should be a little bit. Yes. No, it smells pretty cool. And just to finish off what we might do, I'll just finish off with bottom. We want to work on the diamonds, the crystals. But I'm giving him some like shark teeth. This is obviously like a jellyfish. One of the starfish, what I've done is like the starfish has, it's like the starfish is like melted into it. There's just gonna be some like bubbles popping out. But essentially that's what we'll do for this session. I'll show you as well, so you know, you start to get a feel of how things are going to start working together. You know, on top of each other. Definitely going to be pretty damn wild, but I do know I just need to make sure that I just don't go too crazy that they're unrecognizable. But yeah, I hope that gave you guys some insight to the inking of these pieces. So again, I've just been inking now moving forward until we decide on who we're going to have coloring, because I don't want to not necessarily waste time, not necessarily wasting time coloring, but if we're going to hire someone anyway, they can just do the backlog as we work through it. But that's basically it. So thanks again for coming along. I'm gonna have a bite to eat, and then I'll be on space with Shiba King in an hour, I believe. But yeah, always a pleasure, guys, and I will see you guys next time.